Hey guys, so a while back I did my original review for the Incase Tracto Split Duffel bag. And, one of my viewers pointed out that I hadn't actually showed what the bag could hold. So they recommended that I do a video with, about the same amount of content that I used for the videos that I did for the Arcedo Faro bag or for the video that I showed on how to pack for 4 to 5 days with one backpack. And I thought that was a great idea, and I thought that would be great to showcase kind of what the bag looks like when it's actually filled out, and what it looks like with all the different contents that I would put in for typically about a 4 to 5 day trip. You could even stretch it out to a week depending on how you pack. So this would just be a quick overview video of what I've actually put in the bag itself. I won't really be going into depth on any of the features of the bag, but I will link the original review that I did below, so you can check out kind of more in-depth review if you want to see that. In addition, I also did a separate video on the strap system for this bag that kind of show how it can go from a backpack to a duffel and everything in between. So if you want to check that out, I'll include that in the description as well. So for now, let's take a look at what I've packed in the Incase Split Tracto bag for about a week's worth of travel. So as I mentioned earlier, I've filled the bag with about a week's worth of travel materials, which is about the same as what I included in the previous video I did on how to pack for a long weekend, a long 4-day weekend. There are two ways to access the bag. You can either access from the top if you just want to grab something really quickly, or you can open it from the middle and kind of butterfly the duffel bag open. Both locks, both zippers have little loops so that you could lock them, which is really nice for travel. So you can go ahead and just, if you zip it up together, you would be able to lock these. So the bag is super secure. As you can see here, it's got a really tough material on the outside. It looks very weatherproof, so no worries while you're traveling about getting caught in any sort of rainstorms or anything like that. Okay, but moving on to the top compartment. So as I mentioned, this is in case there's something you want to grab quickly from kind of the outer side of the bag, so it just opens up really easily. And so there's a lot of different ways to use this, I would say. I typically would just include kind of my electronics accessories here. So as you see here, I have my BagSmart Travel Organizer, and this is where I keep all my chargers, my power banks, my cables, kind of anything that's electronics related. I just kind of keep it in here, and as you see, it's nice and slim, so it fits here near the top. If I wanted to bring a tablet or a laptop along for a trip, this is probably where I would include it as well. I would put it in a case. That's probably the one problem that I've had with traveling with this bag so far, is that it doesn't really have any sort of padding for a laptop or a tablet of any kind, so you just kind of have to put it in a separate sleeve and then put it here. This is the side that of course would rest on your back, so at least that would keep it stabilized and kind of level. So this would be a good spot to rest a laptop if this was the only bag you were bringing, but again, it's not really made for that, so that's kind of a workaround. And then it has one zipper pocket on the flap, which you could use for travel documents, for your wallet. I just put a laundry slash shoe bag here. This is what I use to kind of just keep things organized when I'm traveling. And then I've also included my USB 5-port kind of dock here, so that when I go to a hotel or something, I can just charge a lot of devices from one outlet. So I've shown that in previous videos. I definitely recommend it. And so that's pretty much all I've included here near the top. I didn't pack the bag to its fullest capacity, so there's still a little bit of room left. This is the 40-liter bag, so this is the smallest version of the Tracto duffel that there is, which is great. So if this isn't big enough for you, there's actually 2 more sizes above this, which are pretty big. I bought this one because it actually conforms to international carry-on standards, so the dimensions should be fine for traveling on any airline and not having to check the bag. To open the bag from the middle, if you have the compression straps enabled, you want to loosen those. There we go. And then, as I mentioned before, the bag opens butterfly style, so you can actually go ahead and lay it down flat, so you can see everything that you've packed. Here. The bag has 2 separate kind of sides, and each one holds about the same amount of stuff. And so that in itself is a great organizational method, but I've actually also put everything that I've planned for this particular trip in packing cubes, just to add an extra level of organization. to everything, so that when I get to the hotel I can just take it out and put it in drawers and not have to worry. So, opening the first side here, what I've done is I've included my DOP kit here with all my toiletries, so that's the air travel DOP kit. And then on this side, I've included one large packing cube. So here I have kind of my button downs, my jeans, my slacks, kind of the items that I don't want to fold down quite as much to prevent some wrinkling. So if you want a little bit more detail on how I pack these, you can check out the video that I've linked below for packing for a 4-day trip. And so here, as you can see, even though I've included the DOP kit and the larger packing cube, there's still a good amount of space. So if I really needed to, I think I could squeeze an extra pair of thin shoes here, or some flip-flops, maybe some Converses or something like that. Or you could even use this just for if you need extra room for socks or underwear, or if you want to pack a towel of some sort, an umbrella, even a jacket. It could all really fit in here, so there's plenty of space. And these kind of edges are stretchy, so it gives a little bit of extra flexibility when packing, and it helps compress everything down. So moving on to the other pocket. Gonna go ahead and unzip here. So what I've done in here is I've included a medium-sized packing cube and a small one. So, and in addition, I've also included a pair of Toms, which is kind of my favorite shoe to travel with, as you've probably heard me mention in several of my other videos. So, even in this pocket, as you can see, even though I've included 2 packing cubes and the shoes, there's still additional room. So here, I have room for towels or just different small items. And then in this pocket, this is actually the bottom of the top flap pocket. So here's the top flap, the quick access flap. So anything that's here is actually located on the bottom of here. So that's what I recommend keeping in mind when you're packing. So I wouldn't put anything here that you'd want to access quickly from the other side. So let's go ahead and empty this out, and I'll showcase kind of what I have. Here is the medium-sized packing cube. I have a ton of kind of polo shirts and t-shirts in here. And I've also included some of my shorts in here as well. And then, as I mentioned, I have my trusty Toms. These are nice because they just squeeze down anywhere, but any pair of shoes that's thin and flexible will fit in here nicely. There's plenty of room. And here is the small packing cube with my underwear and my socks and things like that. And then here you can see the zipper pocket that was located on the flap that we saw earlier. And then here is a good place to just put, as I mentioned, cables and just random things that you want to be able to access quickly. And then again, besides that zipper pocket, that's about it for organization in this area. It's just a big pocket. And if you like modular packing, that's really, really helpful for a bag such as this. But if not, this just has a ton of space for you to shove stuff in there as much as you want. And that's pretty much it. So I've had this bag for about 6 or 7 months and taken a few different trips with it, and I have to say it's awesome. I haven't found too much to complain about. The only caveat, as I mentioned earlier, is that it doesn't really have any good solutions for carrying your tech. It doesn't have any padded laptop compartment or anything like that, but that's not really the purpose of the bag. I don't think. I think it's just meant to be a really durable, all-purpose hybrid duffel slash backpack. You know, and as I mentioned, this is the 40-liter bag, which is really great to take as a carry-on item on most airlines. So I hope you enjoyed seeing what the bag looks like full. Here's some footage of me wearing the backpack, wearing the duffel as a backpack. As you can see, it doesn't stick out too much. It's a nice size. And then here's some footage of me holding it as a duffel, so you can kind of carry it either way. It has a lot of flexibility. As I mentioned in my original review, the one thing that I didn't like is that there's not really a way to secure the handles anywhere while you're using it as a backpack, so they just kind of float off to the side. The other thing is that even though this bag is meant to hold a good amount, as I mentioned, it's 40 liters, it doesn't have any sternum straps, which I thought was a weird omission, and it doesn't have a waist strap. So that's kind of unfortunate if you're planning on wearing this around the city or holding it for long distances. But other than that, you know, this bag is fantastic, great quality. I've used it a lot. As you saw in the video, you can fit quite a bit of stuff in there. But I hope this was helpful. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be including the original detailed review that I did of the bag, as well as a breakdown of the strap system in the description below. And if you found the video helpful, please go ahead and give us a like. It definitely helps. And if you have any additional questions about the bag, please let me know. You know, I filmed this video as a response to one of the comments I saw in another video. Any suggestions from you guys are definitely appreciated, and I would love to kind of do whatever I can to make these videos as helpful as possible. And if you're enjoying the videos, please go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming ones. And thank you guys so much.